Yeah. But you need an audience. You live
I have to have an audience.
You live for applause and laughter.
On the stage, I do. Yep.
Do you bring that into your regular life?
I bring it into the talk show. I think that's why the talk show does so well, because it's like a comedy club to me. Like the comics say when I complain to comics and go, I haven't been on stage, they go, you're doing stand up every time you come out, and sit in that chair. And I go, yeah, you know what, I am, because I live for the audience. That's probably the biggest complaint I get from the network is who are you looking at? You're not looking at America. It's because I'm looking at the audience in front of me, that live crowd.
Yeah.
And I tend to look at them instead of in the camera lens, because that's how I know if a joke is working.
All right, here he is.
Sherri.
Yeah.
I'm looking at your career, your resume, and I'm like, this right now, doing Sherri, your talk show.
Yeah.
It looks like this is like the highlight of your career. Like probably the best check, the most freedom, the most control, the best opportunity for you to be like, this is who I really am. I say whatever I want, right? I shape right? Like, is this like the career
No. No, it's not. It's like today I had a meeting with someone to pitch a drama for someone whose life is absolutely incredible and fascinating. And I pitched it, and that was like a big highlight of going, okay, I'm going to produce this hour drama for this woman, and now we have to find an actor. Because it's taken so long for me to get it, I've kind of aged myself out of doing the role. So going, okay, now who can we cast and who can we? And so sitting there and with the meeting with the writer and me as a producer and what our vision was, I was like, okay, this is great. And then being on stage last weekend doing 30 minutes. And I was like, this is it.
So is comedy the thing you love most?
I love comedy.
More than acting?
But I love comedy in any form.
Yeah.
So even if I'm an actress, even if I'm doing a comedy, like a sitcom or a movie that has some humor in it, I just love making people feel better.
Why do you love making people laugh?
Because I think it's so much going on. I think people need to let go. I think they need to release. I think it's just our bodies are not designed or equipped to take on all of the stress and the pressure, and you have to have a release. And I've learned that from being young and, going through stuff with my family. And, and so if I can be silly to make you release, it fulfills me.
Wait, were you a funny kid?
Yeah, everybody in my family's funny. I just make really great money at it. They work regular jobs.
Were you the funniest one in your house growing up?
Absolutely not. My cousins.
You're the oldest of three.
I'm the oldest of three.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have cousins who are way funnier than me and relatives, but I'm the one that pursued it.
Yeah.
Because when my family gets together, we're loud and very, very funny.
But there's a craft to it. There's a natural ability to make people laugh that a lot of people have, but then there's a whole craft that you've overlaid onto it that takes you to a whole other level.
Absolutely. And so, that's a lot of hard work. Yeah. And it's a lot of getting past fear, and it's a lot of knowing who you are. It's work. And so a lot of people don't want to do that because I always tell people the craft of funny is very serious to me.
Yeah.
I'm very serious about being funny.
Yeah.
So if I can get on stage and if it looks easy to the optical eye, then that means that I've been working hard.
Oh, wait. Tell me about the fear. Because I know if I set out to make you laugh, you're going to tell me right away you did it or you didn't. And if I say a little punchline and you don't laugh or it's sprinkling, I'm like, right? If I set out to say something smart, you don't say anything. So I'm good, right? When I get to the end of the night, right, I'm good, right? And you might think about it and a week later like, oh, wow, that actually did make sense or whatever. But like, if I don't make you laugh right at the punch, like I have failed, like, oh no.
Oh, it's the most, the thing about it is like you can have a singer who, like Whitney Houston, God rest her soul, could come out and sing I Will Always Love You.
Yeah.
Every single time make you cry.
Oh my God. The 100th time you hear it.
Yes. And it affects you. But as a comic, it's like, it's different because you're putting yourself out there, your material, and that material is you. So you're going, like my material, like me. And if they don't, and you get the immediate response, it is the worst feeling in the world. It's heartbreaking. It's devastating. It's crushing. And you can have the whole arena or theater or room laughing, and it's that one person who's sitting like this that you keep going back to. It's so funny. It's like, bring it out from inside and bring it out into the external where I can see it.
But you're a people pleaser. So you see the one who's not laughing and you're like, oh, I gotta fix this.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I can see it right away. Now I have learned to not overthink it and I've learned to say, but Sherri, 99% is laughing. So go with that. Because I've really worked on overthinking stuff over the past year since I started my show. Just stop overthinking everything.
Well, I want to talk about the craft of comedy.
Yeah.
And just into that notion, I feel like there's generally two sorts of comics. I would think about a phone book comic who can read the phone book and just their vibe is so funny that they'll make it funny, right?
Yes.
And then there's the material folks like Chris Rock and Jerry Seinfeld who micromanage every pause and every word and if I get this material exactly right, I'm gonna kill you, right? But and then the other side. So which I have an idea, but which are you?
I'm not the one where I got to get the material exactly right.
Yeah.
But the material is important to me.
Of course.
But I wish I could be like Chris Rock, where I just have everything written and it's and I formed it and shaped it, or like Joan Rivers, who had all of her stuff cataloged on index cards. I got it's jumbled notes in my phone. It's on napkins with stains on them. It's in between me screaming at Jeffrey. And then
yes.
But for the most part, I have to get on stage and talk it out. It just comes from within. And then I will, do it again. I go, oh, that worked. Let me try it again. And some stuff I'll do one or two times. And I'm like, it's hard for me to recreate that particular joke. It was for that moment right when I was there. I mean, I got a whole sitcom called Sherri from the fact that my husband cheated on me. And that was just I never wrote anything down. I just got on stage in my pain and worked it out. And I remember Jamie Foxx came up and he was like, that was brilliant. And I said, because it's real.
Yeah.
Ninja, it's real.
You can say nigga. But you to me have a funny vibe.
Yeah.
Like you could just come out and say hi and I'm already smiling and laughing because the funny sort of exudes.
It just, I think naturally I know that I'm funny. So whatever you give me, I can make it funny. So I think I don't know if I could read the phone book and be funny. Maybe I could, maybe I couldn't. I've never tried it.
I bet you could. I think you could. So wait, so tell me a little about the craft of comedy. Because I know you guys, there's a deep science to it. And you could break it all the way down.
I mean, I'm just, in my humble opinion, I mean, I watch so many people I came up with Jamie and Chris Tucker and D.L. Hughley. Oof. And, watch an Earthquake. We ran together, Guy and Joe Toure. So that was my stomping ground. And, to watch people, how they deal with fear. I have a lot of fear before I go up. But, the way you combat fear is repetition. You have to get on stage. You have to get on stage.
3-4 times a night.
3-4 times a night. I literally was going up before I got the talk show, maybe 12 times a week.
Wow.
So when you go up that much in a comedy club, the fear kind of goes down as the confidence rises.
Sure.
And no matter what, I remember I could walk in a club and hear, and give it up for Sherri Shepherd. And I go right on that stage and know good and well, because I've done this material so much that I know it works no matter what.
What are you afraid of?
The audience not laughing. I'm afraid that they're judging me, that basically that the material won't work. I am, your mind goes to the worst case scenario. What if everybody starts heckling me? What if, if I'm headlining a club, what if I throw this party and nobody shows up? It's so much that you go through. I remember I was on stage and they were like, Cat Williams is here watching, but I'd already known I'm going to knock this out the park. Which I did. But that's through repetition. Now, since I've done my show, I haven't gone up as much. So when I went up this weekend at the Laugh Factory, it was all fear because my confidence level was not there. But it only took 63 seconds to bring it back.
63 seconds.
62.
Then you're ready.
Then I'm ready.
Because you've come out, you made them laugh, and now you're like, okay, I'm good.
It's a muscle. And it was just like massaging that muscle and getting back on that stage and going, because I couldn't figure out where my groove was. This was a different audience than New York. I love New York.
New York stand-up club is totally different than LA.
I love the energy of New York. It's like grittier. It's like you got to come with it. But also LA as well. But LA, they've seen the top comics.
Sure.
But New York is something that's like you can't bullshit a New York audience. You got to come. I followed Gina Yashere a few years ago, and I was killing in LA. And she went up and she killed, and I was like, I got this. Bombed like you wouldn't believe. And I had to sit down and go, how do I reconfigure this? This audience is not just having me getting up there talking. So I had to really it was the same material, but I was really present is what I was. Follow Gina again for another show and killed.
So if you bomb, you're going to think about it. You're going to listen to it back?
I listen to it, but not after I bomb. I got to wait like a day or two. I got to cry. I got to call my shrink. It's a lot. Oh my God. I got to rethink my life.
And no matter how good you are, you might bomb at any time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you are not nervous before you go up on that stage,
that's a problem.
Then I'm a little scared for you. That's a problem. Or you're not present. But yeah, I have to just sit and figure out and just rethink. I never blame it on the audience. I just go, Sherri, what do you need to, how do you adjust it? How do you fine tune it?
But if you made them laugh last night and tonight it didn't, and it's the same jokes and it's the same vibe, how is it not the voice of going like, they just didn't get me?
Because for me, I'm going, but something was different about this audience. Either you took them for granted because it worked the night before, but something is different that you didn't catch on to. Now, the one thing that I do know is I remember watching Chris Rock bomb and being like, oh my gosh, like this, you bomb, how you gonna go do this again? And he's like, this is for a special. By the time you see this on TV, it's gonna kill because I'm gonna do it over and over and over. And that's where he trims the fat. Like I saw his special that he just did. Now I saw him at a couple different places and he had trimmed a lot of the fat from the material. And this is what works, there was some stuff I was like, you should have left it in because it would have gave context to the joke.
Sure. When
you said such and such and such and such. But you just, repetition, that's for anything. That's for life. If you can
repetition and really microscoping it, I have a close friend who's close with Chris. Yeah. And there were a couple of times when we saw him at the Cellar and then he goes to the table, right, upstairs. Yeah. And he sits there, maybe Neil Brennan is there or whoever else is around. And it's not structured, but it's like, yo, that was really funny. You should have tagged it with this.
Yes.
Or maybe you should have left that one out. And now they're talking to him about, yeah, you're right. Like that one didn't get, right? And so it becomes a little of a hive mind of the people you like and trust are like giving you notes.
Yeah, when people I don't know come up to me and go, you should do, I'm like, yeah, all right. And then I have to pray to God for forgiveness because I'm like, I'm not a bitch, but I don't welcome your material. But you will never see that. But God goes, I know your heart, Sherri. You was a bitch. But people that I love, like Yamanika, who is like my ace Coon Boone, Michelle Bateau, who are out here in New York, Jackie Fabulous. If I go up at the Cellar, I go up there and I sit with Esty at the table and they'll come and say, if you change this around or if you say this, I completely trust those ladies.
Right.
Because they know what they're doing. And there's some new comics that I love who came and gave me that I've seen at the Cellar. And they can I give you kind of a little bit of a different a pitch? And I'll listen. And sometimes I like it, and sometimes I go, I don't know who you are. Why are you at this table?
You have not earned the right.
You've not earned the right. What do you know?
But I don't think folks understand because you're doing a tour with Kim Whitley.
Yes.
Right? Where there's at least 25, 30 minutes of you doing stand-up.
That's right.
So you've worked for, 6 months to build
6 months in building. And even us being on stage together, we are on stage together talking.
Improv.
We're improving, but that is still comedy. That is still us. It's still a craft that we have to, it's a groove that we've had to learn to get into, because when she lobs something at me, I do it. And sometimes I lob it to her, and Kim is brilliant at thinking on the top of her feet. She will come up with stuff that just, I can't believe she made it up in that moment.
Building a 30-minute stand-up special that you can take around the country takes a lot of time. You got to be in clubs. Also, she's doing a daily talk show, which takes over your life. So that's 2 full-time jobs, plus she's a mom. Yes. That's a lot.
It's a lot, but I love it so much. I get on that stage. I remember being with David A. Arnold, who was like, I've knew him for so long. And I remember he said, we can't stay off the stage. It's like, it's something that pulls you. You just have to be on it.
The stage.
I love the stage. And I remember, and I don't have to throw her under the bus, my best friend, Niecy Nash. When I was in LA, I was supposed to go hang out with her. And I said, I can't, I got to go. I got 4 shows. I got to do the Comedy Store, 2 shows, and I got to do the Laugh Factory. And she said, but that's a choice. Like, you don't have to. And I go, yeah, I do. Like, I have to get on stage. Anywhere I go, I got to get on the stage.
Are you going up tonight?
Tonight, am I going up? No, I wasn't planning on going up, because I just got back from LA.
Okay.
And I don't feel bad because I went up like 4 times in LA. But if I get to a point where I'm like, I haven't been up, I got to go. But I'm doing like the City Winery in May 4th. So I do have to get up to get prepared for that show.
Yeah. Yeah. But you need an audience. You live
I have to have an audience.
You live for applause and laughter.
On the stage, I do. Yep.
Do you bring that into your regular life?
I bring it into the talk show. I think that's why the talk show does so well, because it's like a comedy club to me. Like, the comics say when I complain to comics and go, I haven't been on stage, they go, you're doing stand up every time you come out, and sit in that chair. And I go, yeah, you know what, I am, because I live for the audience. That's probably the biggest complaint I get from the network is who are you looking at? You're not looking at America. It's because I'm looking at the audience in front of me, that live crowd.
Yeah.
And I tend to look at them instead of in the camera lens, because that's how I know if a joke is working.
That you see the faces.
I can see the masks were killing me. I couldn't even take it with the mask, but I could see from their bodies going back and forth.
Yes.
If the joke was working.
No, when you really kill me as a comic, I like lose physical control of my body. Right?
Yeah, and that's how I can tell, like the body movement. But it's so much nicer with people not having a mask on, because I can see how it's affecting. And if I see somebody that's looking bored, I go, okay, I got to change it up a little bit.
But so when I was doing a show with 3 other people, and I was like, I want my own show. Of course, right? Everyone said that, right? Uh-huh. And the boss was like, maybe that will happen, maybe it won't. But just so you know, when it's your name on the door, there's a lot of pressure.
Yes, it is.
Because it all is on you. They are tuning in to say they like you or they don't care for you. Right? And it's a lot of pressure, right?
It's so funny. You pray for a dream, but you don't know exactly what the realization of the dream entails. And I do remember that Oprah, I love how I can say her name so easily. Oprah said to me, you will get the glory and you will also get the bad stuff. They're not going to say, oh, that producer of that show was horrible.
Never.
You'll get it all. And that's
Why
so
did
true.
Sherri book that guest?
Absolutely.
Why did Sherri yep.
It's all on you. And I didn't realize that. But it's pressure that I'm ready for. I think that's why it took so long for it to happen.
And it's in the tiny things that we see that make you choose, oh, I want to be friends with her. She's fine, but I don't want to be friends with her, right? And all these people, right? Most of your audience is women.
Yes.
They'll love some little thing about you, or they won't like some little thing about you. And I just don't want to. My mom be like, I just don't like, not you, but I just don't like so and so. And I'm like, Mom, she's great. He's great. But I just don't care for so and so. I'm like, oh, okay.
It's an energy that they want to be within. I always thought, because I love talk shows, is that an audience has to feel like they want to hang out with you, but they also got to feel like you would want to hang out with them.
Interesting. That they want you to hypothetically like them.
Yeah, you
You're
can't
their
be
friend in their head.
That you want to be their friend. that they want to be your friend, but that you will also want to be their friend.
So you can't be above them.
I've seen, it was a talk show I watched, I remember one time, and I was like, okay, no, we know that you have a lot of money and that you, and I remember the set was like 2 staircases going up, and it was in the shape of her home. And I'm looking at this going, this is too hoity-toity for me. I like you, but I don't think you would like me. And so I didn't watch it.
Is that a daytime thing? Because the vibe I get from the nighttime guys, going back to Carson, Letterman, I'm like, they seem like I'm on a throne talking down to you guys. Yeah. But like, I think the daytime folks want to seem like we're in your living room together.
Yes, because, it was typically the kids are gone to school. Right. I'm ironing clothes and I'm watching you. I'm drinking my coffee. You're one of my girlfriends. My wine. Like that's what people tell me all the time. I would love to go, like, you would be so fun to hang out at the bar with. Even though I go home and put my flannels on and I'm sitting there. Yeah, but I would love to. I am that kind of person. I'm like, for me, I'm the auntie, I'm the sister, I'm the cousin, I'm the mom. And they see all that in me. And and I think that people, they know intrinsically, Sherri's the air quotes, celebrity, or Sherri's, but she's relatable.
Yes.
Because I sit there and I go, and they know it's very genuine when I say, I was in jail. Yeah. It was 8 days, but it was a long time. That's
a long time.
And I rode the bus with Jeffrey, and we got lost on the bus because I couldn't understand what the driver was saying on the microphone. So I think they go, you're absolutely relatable because you're just like me.
One of the things and I wonder if you talk about this with Oprah, that one of the things she did so brilliantly was that she was code switching, right? And she was sister girl, and then 2 seconds later, she would talk and just emote in a way that the white people were like, oh, that's my friend, right? Mm-hmm. And I didn't feel like she's selling out, right? And like she had black and white and brown, and everybody was like, Oprah's our girl, right? So that's part of your challenge.
Oprah went through a period where, Black people were really upset with her for a hot minute, and I think everybody, because you have to find your groove, and she found it, and it was like.
But you have to find that, and
I'm finding that too. But I think that I get so many people of all walks of life who go, "I love you," and then I get my folks who are just like, "You are my cousin, you're my." So I don't know. I just how I don't know if I think we all code switch.
Yeah.
So,
well, the better you are at code switching, the higher you can get in at least in entertainment, also in politics, whatever.
Right. So it's just finding my groove. It's been 6.5 months. So just trying to figure out what is working and what
is a good interview to you within the context of Sherri?
A good interview to me is one where the person that I'm interviewing is just relaxed.
Yes.
And if I can do anything to make them feel good and feel like, okay, we're just going to have fun. I'm the kind of person, that's why I love, there's so many, for me, there's 3 Black women who have a talk show.
Right.
And we all bring something so different.
You and Tamron.
And J Hud.
Okay.
And we
right. Hudson, right.
bring something so different. And it's like, if I'm not giving you that you'll never get like journalistic, I'm going to ask you the deep questions and that's not me.
Right.
But I'm going to play a game with you, and I'm going to ask you some questions that are fun for you, where you just feel relaxed. And then there's, you're going to go on Jennifer's show, and she's going to hit you with something, and God help, if you know how to sing and y'all can harmonize together. We had the same guest one time from a show, and we had fun on my show. She left having so much fun, and she was like, this has been the most amazing day. But she was putting out her CD was coming out, her single. And I mentioned it, like, you guys buy her single because she's singing. But when she got on Jennifer's couch and Jennifer said to her, can we sing together? She lost her shit. I was like, damn it, I should have sang with her. Damn it. And to watch them harmonize, that was like the highlight of her life, because singing was her passion.
Yeah.
But she also had a lot of fun with me. So, I love the fact that there are 3 different women sitting here that can give you something. So for me, it's going to be fun. Someone wanted to come on my show and she was like, I'm taking out fillers and the things from my cheek and the boom, and I need to talk about it. And I was like, you got to go over to Tamron because it's so deep.
We're not doing deep.
We're
doing fun.
I just felt like I wouldn't service her.
Yeah.
And her story, the way she needed it to be serviced. Yeah. I'm like, if you come out and sit on my couch, I'm going to make it light and fun because I know my audience, that's what they're coming for. Yeah. And we'll talk about it for a minute, but we going to play a game. I'm going to have some cards and we're going to play back and forth. We're going to, and I said, I just feel like you would be serviced better to really go deep. And taking out fillers and booties and you're going to want to cry. I'm not going to let you cry. You ain't crying over here. So I thank my lucky stars. I go, whew, it's 3 of us on the air.
Aww.
And God forbid, if we find out besides your OnlyFans that you wanted to be a singer, oh my gosh. Guess what you can do? You can go over and sing with Jennifer. Right. And y'all can talk, but she gonna give you that microphone and you gonna be like, y'all can harmonize it out. And I was like, thank you, Lord. That's 3 of us.
I feel like I have always known who you were.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't remember when I started to know who you were. Just Sherri was always been around. But when you were on 30 Rock, in my mind, I was like, oh, she's serious. Oh, like, she's smart. She's inventive. Right. She's original. She's like, because I lived for 30 Rock. And you and Queen of Jordan and all that stuff was like, oh, this is different. Like, she's not just funny. Like, and that whole thing was brilliant.
Oh, well, then you'd love me on Sex Lives of College Girls.
Oh, my God.
Oh.
Well, I started to watch it, and I felt like, no, this is too young for me.
You felt like the creepy uncle?
I shouldn't be watching this. Although I watch Euphoria.
Oh, gosh.
But I was like, when Sex Lives came out, I was like, can I watch this? Is this for kids? Is it a...
That's so funny. Well, if you can watch Euphoria, you can watch Sex Lives.
I don't know. Euphoria, it's a whole different thing.
It's a whole different thing. It is.
But talk about working on 30 Rock, because that character and that Queen of Jordan, that whole thing was amazing.
Oh, my gosh. It was absolutely amazing. That was one of the roles that I didn't have to audition for it. Tina Fey.
Did Tina wanted you or Tracy wanted you?
Tina wanted me. Beautiful. I didn't even know Tracy. I knew of Tracy.
Yeah, of course.
But I didn't know Tracy, and Tina Fey offered that role to me. And I remember the first time she offered, there was no lines. It was like the first time you saw his wife, they were sitting in a restaurant. And I was like, I ain't got no lines. I don't want to do this. So I said no. And they used somebody else. And then I thought, oh, shoot, I wonder if this is going to, if it's going to come back around. Is it going to recur? And thank God Tina liked me because she came back around and hired me. And it was such a wonderful journey of being real, of being over the top.
Yes.
With Tracy.
Yes.
I was scared to death to work with Tracy Morgan.
Why?
Because he was so out there.
Yes.
Like, and he did. His first line to me, he was like, Sherri Shepherd, I'm going to get you pregnant. And I was like, oh, they wrote that for you. That's what you say to women? I'm going to get you pregnant. And it was the scene where my very first time working with Tracy, they said, you guys are on like a staycation and you role play. So you're going to be taking your clothes off and having like wild sex with Tracy. And I was like, I go to church and I don't know if I could do that. But when I tell you, it was so much fun working with Tracy Morgan. And they had me back. And then they came up with that whole Queen of Jordan, having to slap Tina Fey and pull her hair. That was hard. And I'm like, you're my boss. And she's like, no, lay it on me.
Go for it.
Like, go for it. And it just was a joy.
Yeah.
Being Tracy's wife.
I loved you on that. I loved you.
And they gave me the best lines.
Yeah. What was your favorite?
Oh my gosh, I don't want nothing in my size. It was something like when I was talking to Alec Baldwin, I had to jump in his arms with Alec Baldwin. And I think, when they would have me go ham, because I have to sit on the couch and just go ham. They'd have me do it for 30 minutes. And I was like, if you don't have what you want from me saying ham, you're never going to get it. But they just loved the way I did it. And so it was just little lines. You know, my single is dropping. My single is dropping. So it was little things like that. And I just had so much fun being on the set. Tracy was a trip every single time.
Oh my God.
I was on the set. You could hear him from the parking lot.
Right, yeah.
Coming in.
Yeah.
And it just was really wild.
Yeah.
And I feel very honored that I got to be a part of it.
I mean, I loved even like when they started to have his bodyguards,
right?
But they're very intelligent,
yes.
And they're like, "How come we got to play bodyguards? Why can't we play doctors? I actually am extremely intelligent." I was like, "Oh, subversive! I love it."
The writing was just absolutely beautiful. It's so funny when I do my cameos. You know, when you have to do personalized videos, people always want me to do like the top lines from Angie Jordan.
Yeah.
And I'm always on there. And I go, I made so much money on Cameo just doing Angie Jordan's lines. Like, my grandmother loves the lines. My partner loves the lines, you know, so.
Wow.
It's just, I'm honored to be a part of that.
So wait, can I watch Sex Lives of College Girls? Is it like.
Well, I'll give you the episodes I'm in and then you won't feel so bad. Then you'll be like, oh, okay, I'm watching Sherri. You got one eye open and go, oh my gosh.
Because there's some shows that are about younger folks that you feel like,
right.
It's cool, right? We watch Dear White People, right? That's
absolutely.
college, like, no problem, right?
Absolutely.
Like I said, Euphoria is deep,
yes.
right? So I'm like, I'm rolling with y'all.
Yes.
Right? I don't know, something about like, but I fucked with Harlem. I like Harlem.
Harlem is great. Yes, I did Harlem. That, you know, it's funny, I would watch Harlem and I thought that was such a great show. And then when they called and said, we're offering you this role to play Shaniqua's mother, I was like, oh my gosh. And literally they wrote, I don't know if you saw my particular episode, but I had a very poignant scene with Shaniqua at the end that they just wrote at the last minute.
Oh, wow.
Because they loved our chemistry together. So it was great, except I didn't read the script until probably the night before I did the show.
Okay.
And I didn't really know I had like 5 boys. I came out of my trailer and all of these black men was like, hey, mama, hey, mama. And I was like, hey, wait a minute. Hey, who? Hey, mama. And I was like, no, I will be dating all of y'all. And then Lil Rel is playing my son too. Oh, no, I don't know what I did wrong. And I was like, my name is Sherri.
Wait, you can learn your lines that fast?
Yeah, it's like a muscle.
I've read the script last night and I'm ready to go.
It was not so much I'm ready to go. I need time in my trailer. Like, you got to leave me alone when I'm getting my stuff worked out. But I was in the middle of moving to New York. So I just wasn't able to do what I normally need to do, build it up. So I had to build it all up that night before in my hotel room. I had to put Jeffrey out. I didn't even know where he went. I was just like, don't come back for 3 or 4 hours. Mama is working.
So wait, what do you do in that time?
I lay on the floor and close my eyes, and I create an entire storyline for myself, down to what happened to me when I was 5, what happened to me when I was 11, because I think that way you have something to rest on when you don't feel like you have anything, when you feel like you just have one line.
I think that people expect that if you're doing drama. They don't expect that if you're doing comedy.
I do it. I just do it because I just like to have a fully fleshed out character.
Yeah.
So for Shaniqua's mother, she was loud and she loved dressing like her daughter. But why is she loud like that? Why does she like dressing like her daughter? Why does she, why is she so, she wanted her daughter to be out there. So why? Why is she a woman who's very comfortable with her sexuality? There's a reason for that. And I think it complements my comedy. So I'm not just coming out there screaming at my daughter and going, look at what I got on. There's a reason why.
Yeah.
And I think that when they saw that, then they wrote a very poignant scene at the end where I have to really remind her who you are. You're a part of who I am. And I'm living vicariously through you. So you have to go out and make it for your mama. And that is only if I create a fully fleshed out woman. And she's not one-dimensional.
Yeah. So you're laying on the floor on your back.
Yeah.
Imagining the entire world of this woman.
Yeah.
So, and then what happens?
And then I just close my eyes. I just go in, and I'll see what triggers me, and I kind of stay there for a moment. and figure out where is she going, what makes her laugh, why, I give her experiences in my head. Sometimes I play music.
Visualize these experiences that she's had. So it becomes in your body.
Yeah, and it's just like a whole daydream exercise. And then I do it for dramas too when I do a drama.
Oh, of course. Is this this isn't method, or is this a?
I think I probably learned it in one of my acting classes of how to create a character. I'm not going to say Sherri just came up with that.
No, of course.
So, it definitely in acting classes, you wear red, I wear red, you wear red. I learned it and it worked for me. And it works for me in comedy. It also works for me in stand-up because I also visualize killing on the stage.
Oh, really?
And I visualize confidence, what that looks like as I come out on the stage. I visualize making eye contact and slowing down and owning the silence, So a lot of times it's like, I got to hear laughter, but sometimes silence is very powerful.
It's very powerful.
Confident. Yeah.
Yes. When the comic is letting it be silent, it can create attention in the audience. They make me think about Chris Rock's Tambourine, which the last 45 minutes wasn't funny.
Right.
But it wasn't meant to be funny.
Yeah.
Talking about my divorce, I'm basically opening up my heart and showing you which he has not really done.
No.
Right? He don't really talk about his real self. So he's like, yo, I'm messed up right now. Here's a look at it. And it was silent and it was compelling. And I'm on the edge of my seat. I'm like, I haven't laughed in forever. And keep going.
And that takes a lot. You just got to be fearless to do that, to make yourself so vulnerable.
Not laugh. To let them not laugh.
To let them not laugh. To sit in the silence of it all. That's hard for me because I need laughter. I need to, that's why I go out there. And when I don't get it, I'm just like, oh my God, what am I doing wrong? So it's something that I've had to learn, that you can own the silence and take them where you want them to go.
Yes. I mean, shit, man. I'm definitely afraid of the silence as an interviewer.
Yeah.
Like if I don't know what to ask when you finish talking.
Right.
Like I would be stressed and we're just looking at each other, not saying anything. And then what would happen? But it could be a great moment.
It could be, but I think we are taught that, on TV or radio, that silence is death.
Gotta keep going.
You got to keep going.
Yes.
Because you don't want them to turn the channel.
Yes.
And here, I remember being on The View. There was no silent.
It was like five of y'all talking at once.
If you started getting silent, somebody's going to jump in on your time. And I think that's probably also because of that. But in stand-up and being on stage when it's just me, then I can be comfortable with the silence. I can go, I think my evolution from when Sherri started, I was very rapid fire. And then being on The View, I had to, that's probably another complaint I get. Sherri, why you talk so fast on your talk show when you're sitting there? Because I was sitting with 4 other women. And if I didn't grab my airspace, I didn't have it.
Yeah.
That moment would pass me by and I would not be saying anything.
Yeah.
So it's like double dutch. And being in the chair, I got so many comments from viewers going, we love you, but can you breathe? Because I wasn't breathing. I was doing a comedic rant, and I was like, I got to get it all out. And once I got these comments, then I was like, wow. Because a dear lady said, it's your show. And we are enjoying you. And then my best friend, John Murray, was like, take your time. And I said, I can't slow down. That's not normal for me. So learning how to slow down and talk.
It communicates confidence.
It communicates confidence. Absolutely. And doing that on stage as well.
Even now, I'm like, feel the silence. Don't let it. I'm like, do it. Why don't you do it now? Like, I can't do it.
It's a big thing that comes up of feel the silence. But even in life, when you're talking to somebody, where they say, don't over talking. You have to break up with somebody. You want to go, it's not you, it's me. Can we just be friends? And I love you so much. And really, talk yourself back into being with them. But being silent and saying what you have to say. And it's okay to be silent and letting them talk.
Well, that's when you know that you're really connected with somebody.
Yep.
That we can be quiet together.
Yeah. I learned that in my year of just dating, saying yes and dating. Just being silent, not being so nervous. Being silent and listening.
It would be hard though. I haven't been on a date but I would feel like, I got to entertain her. I got to make her laugh. I got to, keep her interested. I don't want to be a drip and he was cool for 10 minutes, but then I would I could see she goes to the group chat. He was boring. And I'm like, that would kill me. The girls said to her girls, I was boring. Like, oh my God.
I mean, but sometimes I think as we get older, I feel like I don't have to fill it up with everything. Because number one, I don't have everything to fill it with.
Well, wait, if a person went on a date with you, what would they need? Because you're funny, you're bringing the party, you're interesting. What does he need to do to get your interest, to get to date number 2?
I like a man that's funny. I love a funny man who's got a great sense of humor. But I also like a man who can be confident, and that's one that he doesn't have to fill the space. That we can be in the truck or the car, and it's silent, and then we talk. Like, I'm good with that. When somebody's on all the time, that scares me. That you're on all the time, or you got to be funny all the time, because you can't sustain that.
I would be intimidated to be funny with you because I'm like, she's a professional comedian. Don't try
it.
Right? Don't try to keep up with her, right?
Yeah.
Because she does that.
That I do have to say, when I meet men who try to be funny all the time, I do get irritated because I'm like, I'm the professional. But I feel like they're competing, or they have to show me that they're funny. And I'm like, you don't have to do that. Just be who you are.
Right.
And I can like that or not. But you don't have to, especially be so super funny. Just have a great sense of humor. I like men who make me laugh, but just having a great sense of humor.
Beside making you laugh, what else does he need to do?
Have a job.
Well, of course.
That's a big one. When you say of course, everybody ain't on the of course tip.
Really?
Touré, yeah. Everybody.
You mean all the ladies are not on the of course
no,
tip?
all the men are not on the of course have a job.
You get guys who are underemployed asking you out?
You sometimes get guys that are in the studio. I'm in the studio. That's one of the jokes I do. They're always in the studio. That means you ain't got no job. Right. But just, what else can they do I like a man who has a sense of purpose. I always ask, what's your purpose? What's your passion? Because I like that, because that means you are willing to step out beyond regular folks. Because so many people don't want to pursue what's really deep down inside. So what is your purpose? What is your passion? What is it that you love to do? Now, if you're of a certain age, I'm like, now how does that sustain you?
Sure.
Because we can't be talking to you. Like, my purpose is I want to, be captain of a cruise ship. I'm getting my own cruise ship. Okay, you 51. I don't know when this is supposed to happen.
But no, you make a great point that as creative people,
right,
we have been blessed to live in our purpose, right? Like, you are living your, like, I am living my purpose. And I do feel for people who are like, yeah, I work at, like whatever, Western Mutual or whatever. That's not your purpose. And then on the weekend, I do this or that or whatever. And I really love that. But like, most of my time, I'm doing this thing that I just got to do to keep it going. And like, you're responsible, you're mature, you're adult, like, hats off. But I'm like, yo, we get to play like in our thing, like all
in our
day.
Thing. I feel so incredibly blessed that I get to play. Yes. That my job is I get to play and I get to laugh, which sometimes is hard because people think that it's very easy and they think that you have fun all the time and they don't see the work that you put into the play. Yeah. But when I meet people, I have friends who they are not living in their purpose and their passion and everything. And you get to a place where you have to take care of your family and, responsibilities and fear. And I really try to encourage people, follow that thing that scares you, because on the other side, it's so absolutely amazing. Yes. It's just, the world opens up when you are doing something that you absolutely love.
Wait, are you sad?
Am I sad?
A lot of comics deep down, you know what I'm talking about, are sad.
Yes.
And the funny and the imperative to be funny all the time is partly to battle that back.
I've always found that to be true with a lot of men.
Okay.
A lot of men are sad. And I think that also goes to levels of men are not allowed, they don't have the flexibility or the permission that women do.
To be silly.
To be silly, to be emotional, to cry.
Oh, forget about it.
And I think that this goes also into, because more male comics you hear commit suicide or have mental breakdowns. I'm not saying it doesn't happen to women, but we tend to have so many things filling our lives. And men, because I feel there's a correlation with not being allowed to cry and not being allowed to let go and not being allowed to talk to other people. Women, we're talkers.
Yeah.
So we can go to our girlfriends and ignite a conversation that is so much color, but we've not allowed men to do that. And so you get into stand-up and it's still, you're fighting depression. My husband one, was a stand-up comic who was brilliantly funny, but he battled depression. You know, my son is hysterically funny, but he battles that. I can see that in him. So I think it has a correlation with, we've just not allowed our men to be able to sit in it and say, I'm sad. Because you go toughen up.
Oh my God.
So you have to take it on stage, but you're still battling.
Yeah. You're
still battling that thing internally. Women, we get to call 5 girlfriends and go, I'm sad. And all 10 girls show up and go, let's talk about it. Cry it out. Whatever you got to do. And you can call the next week and go, I'm still sad.
I see it in my wife. If something's bothering her, she'll talk to me about it. And then I'll hear her on the phone talking to Jill about it. And then she's on the phone talking to Keisha about it. And then she's on the phone talking to Jackie
and from
about
you,
it.
she don't want you to give her solutions.
She might not.
She wants you to just listen.
Yo, that is a gigantic thing that it took me a long time to learn. Because when a man says, I can't figure X out.
Right.
He may or may not be looking for you to solve it, but he like, what? Yo,
I want a resolution.
If you do this, if you called Paul, he'll take care of that or whatever. You go left. The women may want to just say, this is how I feel, and she wants you to just listen. Don't solve the problem.
Yeah, don't tell me to go confront Mary and say, no, I don't want to confront her. That's not what I wanted to do. I just want to tell you she's a bitch.
Right.
I don't want to confront her.
Right.
Yeah, and so you have people listen to us, and we get to tell them how we feel, and we get to tell 8 people how we feel. I don't think men get to do that.
No, we don't. A man, I saw a man on TikTok say a thing that he does in his marriage is when his wife starts talking, he's like, do you want me to listen or do you want me to solve the problem?
Oh, that's good.
Right? And quite often she's like, I want you to listen. Great, I'm here. My wife will be telling me something and I'm like, she wants me to listen. And I'm listening. I'm just listening.
Yeah.
And then after a while, she'd be like, you're not saying anything. And I'm like, well, I was giving you my ear. Now you're saying, now I want you to respond and say like what you think I should do. So now that you've poured it out, this is what I think. But as you say, quite often it's like, no, I'm not going to do that. But I really wanted to just pour this out.
I think that's a great one to go, I'm listening. Would you like my input on how to solve? No, I just need you to listen.
That's a Mars-Venus thing, because the man is taught, solve problems. And like, no. Just listen to her. Like, what? And
my son is going through that with his girlfriend. Like, he's like, I keep listening. Mom, I keep telling her how to do it and she won't. And I'm not there for her. And he's like going through it with his girlfriend, and I go, Jeffrey, it doesn't get any better, honey.
No, it doesn't.
This is it, baby.
It doesn't get
what you're getting right now, he's like, I just need space right now. Because it's everything so over the top dramatic. This is what it is, babe.
I remember hearing about one of my son's female classmates was complaining that her father and her brother were not listening to her. And the mom was like, get used to that.
Yeah. That's what happens. I learned so much about men from my son. Like my son goes, you talk too much, Mom. Like, you told me this already. Like, why do you keep talking? And I go, wow, because I like to talk. And
they have, I find, because my boy's 15, Jeffrey's 17.
Jeffrey's 17.
So we're dealing with the same, we're in the same boat. I find their attention span for this sort of stuff is about 45 seconds.
Yep.
That I could communicate some message to you, maybe even 30. And after that, you start to tune out.
start to tune out. That's exactly how it is with Jeffrey, especially at 17, because I feel like I got 15 minutes to teach you about life. I have sheltered you so much.
Because he's about to be out the house.
Because he's about to be out, turn 18. And like, I got 15 minutes to pour all of life into you, all of life's lessons. And he's like, can we just go get something to eat? That's all I want, a donut. Like, and I'm going, oh my gosh. Like, we were riding the bus and Jeffrey is so unaware of people. He had his backpack on and it kept hitting the lady in the face. He's so completely unaware. And I'm like, Jeffrey, you got to do this. And he's like, stop it. She didn't complain. We're fine. And I'm going, no, but you don't.
My son would say the same thing.
Oh, would he? Okay, then I don't feel so crazy.
I don't feel so crazy either.
Oh my God. He was like, she didn't
complain. She didn't complain. She don't have to complain. It's not the right thing to do.
I go, you are in her space, Jeffrey.
But once my son was on the train with his friend and they were playing a game on the phone together.
Yeah.
And I was sitting a little way away with my daughter and he must have accidentally stepped on his brother's shoe, right? And I missed the first time and there was one interaction I didn't see at all. And then my daughter like taps me and points and he's now getting a little aggressive, the man.
Yeah.
Because he's been like, you stepped on my shoe once or twice and I told you and you didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So, of course my son is in left field. He's like, I've never seen you before in my life. I just talked to you like twice in the last 3 seconds. So now I got to stand up. And once I stood up and he's like, oh, there's a man in the picture.
Right.
Like, and I'm not fighting anybody, but my kids I might.
Absolutely.
But like, and I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, let's move, whatever. But it was traumatic for a second, because you do that man thing of like, y'all, I'm here. Let's take the tone down a little bit because he's 14.
Yeah.
Right. He's like, all right. I'm gonna maintain my self-respect. I'm gonna give it to you, bro.
Oh my gosh. See, then mine is different from I'm standing up. I'm a mom. I'm like, was that something you needed to say? You need to say it to me? I'm so protective over my son.
Oh,
I'm
mama
just
bear.
like, I am a mama bear.
Hell yeah.
Though I wish I could have, sometimes I feel like I've sheltered my son too much. I feel like instead of us living in the suburbs, we should have been living in Compton so we could have had a couple fights. Like, that's how I feel now. I was telling Kim Whitley that, me and Kim Whitley, because we do our Two Funny Mamas podcast, and she said the same thing about Joshua. Like, they're so sheltered and they're so used to, they go clear. They go You saw us at the airport. Yeah. We were in the pre-check clear line. Like, they're not used to waiting. Every time I look at Jeffrey, I'm like, yeah, we should have moved to Compton for
but
like 2 years.
He knows you're a star, right?
Yeah, like he knows that people...
Because you get recognized all the time.
Because I get recognized.
So he knows.
He knows, but he's used to living... Like, it's always different when he goes to be with his father.
Yeah.
Like, and he doesn't mean it. I remember his dad calling. He's like, Jeffrey's entitled, and he's this, and he's that. And I'm like, he's not entitled, but he's always grown up in a house that had a pool, in a house that had at least 3 bathrooms. So when he goes to your girlfriend's house with all of her kids, he goes, where's the pool? Or he goes, you only have 2 bathrooms? Where's your bathroom, son? Her son, where's your bathroom, cousin? He's not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but that's his life. We were at the airport, Touré. I was so embarrassed. He's like, we're in the clear line and the pre-check. So it might have been like, you walk right up to you go right through. Or if you're like on a Delta One, they take you right through.
Yeah.
And he goes, why is the line so long? It was one person in front of us. Why is the line so long? I could have popped, if he wasn't taller than me and I didn't have inflammation in that first finger, I'd have popped him right in his damn mouth.
Wait, did you hit him when he was little?
Maybe 1.5 times. That's probably another reason why I talked to my son.
You got hit. We got tore up.
Oh my gosh, did I get hit?
We got tore up.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, on your butt or on your face?
My butt, but my father used to do my face, which is why I don't like.
Your father hit
I don't like
you in
getting
the
popped in the
face?
mouth.
Wow, my father hit me in my butt a lot.
Butt was all the time. But my mom and my dad used to pop me in my mouth. Because if I started talking, they'd be like, stop talking. And I had a mouth. And they pop me in my mouth. And now I really do. Like somebody, I learned later, somebody said the hand that gives love should not be the hand... Right. Somebody white taught me that. The hand that gives love should not be the hand that doles the discipline. And when you pop somebody in the mouth, it like affects their self-esteem.
Yes.
So unfortunately, but my family, it came from the South. That's what they did.
I mean, that's what they knew. That's what when we were growing up.
You got popped in the mouth, but it really, really affected me So Jeffrey probably got a whooping 1.5 times.
Right.
In his entire life. Like sometimes he'll go, Ma, come here, give me a whooping. Yeah, he joke, give me a whooping. Like he will lay on my lap and go, give me a whooping. And he will crack up. Just crack up.
What's the half?
Like, yeah, like I started to whoop him, and then I was just like, let me just talk to him.
I love that.
I talk to him now.
I love that you're like, I love that he sounds like some of the white children that I grew up around. Yes. Right? I knew no black children growing up who'd be like, where's your other pool? Yes. You only have one? But I knew white kids who were like, so where's the stable?
Oh my God.
You don't have no fucking horses? Like, you guys only have 2 cars? Like, how do you get, right? So, but take me back. So how was that? How long was that?
It wasn't very long. It was like I wish I could do the Vanilla Ice thing, but it wasn't that daggone long. It was homeless to me I didn't have a place to stay. I got evicted so many times.
So you're in your car.
I had my stuff in my car was repossessed. I was taking the bus. So I had a lot of my stuff in pillowcases. And I would just be calling different people. You had a little pager. You had to go to the payphone.
Couch surfing.
I was couch surfing. So I never slept on the streets. I don't want people to think, oh, Sherri she just was on the streets. No, I just was on a different couch until a girlfriend got tired of me. It was like, you got to get out, okay? If you ain't going to be helping me with no bills, you got to get your ass out. Then I have to go to another couch, or I had to ask some guy if I could stay with them, So that was my period. That was maybe 6 months until I got another apartment and got evicted from that. I got evicted a lot. I got my car repossessed a lot.
Did that motivate you?
Yes, no, going to jail was the thing that motivated me. The getting evicted, because I always knew I could get another apartment. Now, it wasn't all that you got to make 4 times the rent. You got to have a credit score. You just go change the spelling in your name a little bit. So I was like Shirley Shaparo. You change it up a little bit. You change, if they needed a little couple, you make the little papers on the Xerox machine. You make your own, pay stubs. You can get into an apartment. But that didn't so much bother me because I was so used to that. My car getting repossessed.
Tell me about 8 days.
The 8 days in jail was the thing that changed me.
You had a couple parking tickets.
No, they were moving violations. So you don't go to jail for parking tickets. Okay. If you have a moving violation. So because I was a Jehovah's Witness, we thought that Armageddon was going to come.
Yeah.
And when so I never paid any of my bills because I was like, well, if Armageddon gonna come, why am I paying this?
It don't matter.
Why am I paying my registration? Why am I paying the rent? Because Armageddon about to come in about 5 minutes.
Right.
So we don't need to. So I can use this money to buy some clothes. I was very irresponsible financially, and Armageddon did not come, but my $10,000 worth of bench warrants, because when you get a moving violation, they give you a ticket and you got to appear in court.
Yeah.
And when you don't appear in court, it becomes a bench warrant for your arrest. And I had $10,000 worth of bench warrants. Oof. And so I was on my way to the Comedy Store to perform when they pulled me over because my registration was 2 years expired. That's why I kept getting the moving violations.
Yeah.
So I already knew that when I saw behind me, I pulled into the mall because I was like, they won't tow my car. So I pulled into the mall, threw my keys up underneath my seat because I don't want my car towed. And I was like, I'll call my girlfriend later if I got to go to jail. Well, this was the day he was like, you got all these warrants, you going to jail. And that was the beginning of the 8 days being in jail.
The 8 days was not a sentence. That's just like
it was just because
waiting to see the judge.
Yeah, it was like I went in on a Thursday and then they took me to the Rampart Division. I think they even made a movie about the Rampart Division. That was like one of the worst police stations ever. They took me to Rampart, and then it was the Friday. It was the Martin Luther King weekend. So for the whole weekend. And then Rampart, thank God, was overcrowded. So they took me to Van Nuys. Oh. And even to this day, because I didn't know that Rampart was one of the worst, like they had so many like corruption issues and stuff that I should not have been there. And so they took me to Van Nuys. So it was like the whole weekend sitting there. And then Martin Luther King, Monday, it was a holiday. So that's 4 days right there, right there. Then they got to process you. That's when I went to Sybil Brand, which is now closed. I think Lisa Ray did a movie about Sybil Brand. So I had to be processed. And then I had to go to each court that I had the bench warrant in.
Yeah.
And so the trauma was like, the black and white bus that goes past you on the freeway.
Yeah.
That you don't want to look in. You just keep driving. You don't look in. Like they would they had the guys in the back and then they caged them up. And then the girls they put in the front and they chained the girls up but two each. So they chained you up. And I was the only girl that didn't have a partner. So they put me all the way at the back right before the cages started with the men.
So they're talking to you.
Oh my God, whispering the most horrible things like I'm gonna cut you up, bitch. I'm gonna eat your legs. I'm gonna cut your clit open up, and I can't even, oh my God.
Why?
And I'm there I'm chained up, and all I can think about is if this bus gets into an accident or somebody gets through that cage, oh my God. Like it was so, and then it was also, cause that was like maybe my 6th day there, and not being seen, like nobody talking to me or seeing me or treating me like, that's why I felt bad for people who are in jail because you're just a number. They didn't see that I had a really great smile or I had a sense of humor. They talked to me mean. It was just, I was joking with some girls and the guards made me stand in the corner and they didn't let me eat. And I was so hungry. They didn't let me eat. And then they gave me some moldy bologna. And it was like, nobody sees me. Nobody is paying attention to me. And so it was quite lonely. But being in that daggone bus, and then that's why when I look, and I make this funny on stage, I looked out the side of the windows. We were on the 405, and there were people driving. And so I just was like, please, somebody just look up at me so I can show you with my eyes that I'm a really nice person. I'm a legal secretary in Beverly Hills. Like I'm going to communicate. You know what that looks like when you're staring at somebody like that? It looks like you're crazy because you're trying to communicate all of this, and nobody would turn and even honk a horn at me. And I'm all chained up. So my arms are at my side, and these men are in the back of me saying the nastiest stuff to me. And I just cried. And it was just like, oh my gosh, even being in court and then being humiliated. The people, the sheriffs would bring you up. There's a back elevator that you can bring the prisoners or the wards of the court up. But they took me in the front with all of the people who were dressed in their suits, and they had me in this jail dress, this muumuu. I didn't have no underwear because the Big Bertha, whatever her name was, stole them. So I don't have no underwear on. I got this big old muumuu thing. My hair is in cornrows because the girl, a little bit, her name was, cornrowed my hair because one of the women kept playing it. And she was like, this is about to be some trouble. So I'm going to cornrow your hair because my hair was long. So it was like they brought me up, chained up with some house shoes on and this muumuu with everybody in suits, and nobody would look at me. And it was so humiliating. And so by the time I got to the court, that was my last day for, going to the different courthouses. And the judge goes, Miss Shepherd, what are you here for? And I go, I'm a really nice person. I work in Beverly Hills. And I thought Armageddon was going to come, or else I would have paid all my tickets. And I'm not supposed to be here, Your Honor. And I took off and I didn't know how I'm going to pay my rent. And he was like, okay, time served. That changed my life.
That made
I will be
focused on
what I was going to do with my life.
But you really thought the Armageddon was coming.
I did. I thought it was coming.
Did you say that was wrong? Or it's like, well,
I called my best friend. I was like, what happened?
It may still be coming, but I got to stay up current.
I thought this was coming in 1995. What happened? So it didn't come, but I needed that life lesson of being focused, because so many people in jail, I did make them laugh. I made the women laugh in jail. And one girl, Shay, she kept saying to everybody, leave Sherri alone, because we're going to be here for the rest of our fucking lives. Sherri going to be somebody. And that even spoke to my spirit. It spoke life into my spirit. But I would make them laugh, and they would always go, you're going to do it. And so it made me focus on my career, to do it for those women that I met in there, because so many of those women in there, unfortunately, are young and they were prostitutes, but their boyfriends were not in there. They had children that their parents were taking care of. And that was sad to be in there with women who didn't know their worth. And it was hard to talk to them because everything was about when they got out, they were going to get back with their boyfriend and go back to being a prostitute and, trying to change hearts in there. But I did make them laugh. And so that made me really focus on my career, and it made me pay my bills. I'm not late on any bill. I'm not, no repossessions, no nothing.
It sounds like an important pivotal experience.
Yeah.
In that somebody else saw the light and the talent in you.
That I didn't see myself.
That you hadn't seen.
Mm-hmm.
And that helped.
Absolutely.
That self-confidence of like, if she can see it, then there must be something, right?
And there must be something. Yeah, and I hope that, I don't know if those women remember me at all, but I hope that the ones,
they do.
Well, there were a couple that I was kind of close to because they protected me. Yeah. And I know that those like 3 core women, Lil Bit, Shay, and there was another girl, I know that when they watch me, they know that's me, that's Sherri.
That's my girl.
And they're probably saying I was in jail with her, and they're going, no, you weren't. 100%. Sherri Shepherd wouldn't be in jail.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And
they're going, no, we were in jail together.
And 99 times that story is not true. But for them, no, really, I was locked up with her.
I was in jail with her.
And she was funny as fuck.
Absolutely. And she was hysterical.
Oh. 2 more things that I always ask everybody. What does being Black mean to you? And where does it show up in the work? Because you stand on the shoulders of an incredible tradition of Black comedians, the comedians, all that, right? So, like, what does that mean to you?
What does being Black mean to me? I love being a Black woman. I used to hate it when I was little. I completely related to, not with Whoopi Goldberg when she did a one-woman show and she put the towel on her head. Yes.
Why
was that
am
the character?
Straight?
And that was like, I wanted the Cindy Brady hair. I wanted the blonde hair on my dolls. I didn't want a Black doll. I wanted a white baby doll. They had the pretty hair. They had and I just felt like the struggles that I went through, the white girls never went through that I saw on TV. What we're going through. Drug addiction in my family, violence and alcoholism, but now growing up and having a core group of Black women be by my side, I love it so much. I can't picture being anything but a Black woman. And from Black women, I've gotten my strength. And I found that I had my strength when I went through 2 very painful, very public divorces of Black women coming, going, get up, I got you. And so it is like a feeling I can't imagine being anything else but a Black woman. And I love my Black men. I love the Black men in my family. I love my son. I think I'm probably too hard on him. He's like, can you stop moving your neck? And I go, it's in my DNA, Jeffrey. Like, you get a Black woman, that's what she gonna do. She moves her neck when she's passionate, and so just being Black to me means having an inner strength, and being Black means being able to laugh at things that would break people. Because like I said, I come from a family of, it's been a lot, and we laugh to get through it. And Black people, I feel like, are able to find that. I think sometimes people look at us and go, how y'all laughing at that? Because we find that thing that can be a salve to our pain. And so that's what my sense of humor, I feel like when I think about my ancestors coming over here, were my ancestors, because it's a lot of people that didn't make it, but mine did. Was humor the thing that got my ancestors through? Was laughter the thing that got my ancestors through and was carried down to me? And then that makes me proud. I suppose I should do a 23andMe at some point, but I'm afraid I'm gonna get some relatives that need some money, so I'm just gonna hold off on that. But I feel like it kind of makes me proud to go, maybe my ancestors came through this with a lot of smiles, with a lot of laughter.
That's really beautiful.
Part
of the thing you said there related back to what we were talking about with men and women, that when you were at your low point, the sister cavalry showed up to lift you up. And I've heard other women talk about, like, when I was at my lowest, women came and lifted me up. And, you know, for men, it don't roll like that. Like, when you are down, you know, you're not going to have like 3-4 guys coming like, you be like.
You know, I remember my ex-husband when we talked and kind of like came to terms with being divorced. And he said it was infidelity. And he said, Sherri, I was in a place where I could hear what he said. He said, I was in so much pain because we were pregnant and had lost Jeffrey's sister. It was twins. And we had lost his sister and thought we were going to lose Jeffrey. And he said, everybody rallied around you. They wanted to know how you were doing and what's going on.
And that's important. You're pregnant.
I'm pregnant. But a man goes through, you know, now you're realizing men, you may not be carrying that baby, but you're no less close to that being that you helped create. Yeah. And he said, everybody rallied around you and was there and they want to pray with you. And it was all about you. And he said, nobody rallied around me. Yeah. And I had nobody to talk to about the pain that I was going through of losing my little girl and my son and him coming out because they told us Jeffrey would have cerebral palsy and be mentally challenged. And he's on the spectrum. And he's like, I didn't have anybody to talk to because all the men were like, man up. Mm-hmm. And he said, so I found comfort in the arms of someone who made me feel and who listened to me. So a lot of us women go, wow, the mistresses that be knowing everything about us, we don't know everything about them because they can talk to them.
Yeah.
And they're not able to talk to us.
See, I mean, the way he explained it.
Yeah.
It's deep. It's deep. You know,
Very deep.
It that even happens too when everything works out, right? With the pregnancy, right? Because mom and baby are super close, as they should be, right? That first 6-9 months, first 10 years, they are Velcroed. But that first, and the baby has become the sun in her world.
Right.
Right. And you were the sun in her world. You are not, right?
Yeah.
And the baby just sees mom, and mom just sees the baby. And it does take a little maturity on the man to be like, I am fully third position in this family now.
And it's a hard one.
It's hard.
But I think that women, we also have to realize men still need they still need attention. They still need sex. Y'all are creatures that it doesn't. If you win, you need sex. If you lose hard, you need sex. You get a promotion, you need sex. You get fired, you need sex. That means something different to us, especially once we have a baby. We tend to put sex on the back burner because we have this little human that needs everything. Yeah. And so sometimes we forget about that man that's right there who still needs, because he hasn't been allowed to really just like express, I need you. And so physical intimacy is one way which he can say, I need you. Yeah. It may sound like I need to slap that ass, but it's like, I need you. And so I think that, you know, we can't forget about a man.
But his purpose, like deep down, some of his purpose is to have a baby, right?
Yeah.
And that he's had a baby doesn't like quench it, right? It doesn't end the desire to have, right? Like you come and start touching him on his forearm and he gets excited.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You have started to quench your vision, right? My life was and obviously women dream of doing many things with their lives, right? But having a child for most women is what they want, right? You get one, you get two, like, this is what I dreamt of. Right. Right? And so I have ticked this box and now I have to raise up these flowers, right? The man is still like, well, I'm still out here trying to shoot more. Like, what's good?
I still want to conquer.
Right? You, her, what else is out here for me?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. That's something that a man goes through. It's a choice every day. But I think that sometimes we have to really pay attention to our men. We say, because a lot of times we go, they're okay. They present strong and they're fine.
Because they're told to.
And sometimes they're not.
Even women will mock you for showing feelings sometimes.
I was one of those ones when I feel really, I was one of those women who was like, I don't want to see no man crying. You get to cry 3 times. You get to cry when your mama died. You get to cry if you like, it was something you was really going for. And you get to cry if I slapped the shit out of you. Because I mean, you get 3 cries. That's it. I feel very, very differently raising a son. I feel very differently when Jeffrey comes to me and goes, Mom, just listen to me. Can you just listen? And I go, oh.
But Jeffrey crying, being emotionally aware is different than if you were to have, let's say, another boyfriend.
Right. But the boyfriend starts out as a little boy. And I think that first woman.
But you don't want him crying, do you? For you to accept a man in your life, if you had another, like, and he's like, more, would that?
Well, you can't be crying I can't be crying and you crying. Like, that's just not gonna work. We both over there crying. We both scared because we done heard the lock turn in the door and upstairs and you crying. We both can't do the same thing. So I'm not saying, you can't be around me crying all the time. I don't even want a girlfriend around me crying all the time. So I'm gonna be like, look, bitch, I done been here for you a whole bunch of times. Let's stop all that crying.
It's too much.
It's too much. It's team too much. That's what my voice gonna sound like with my girlfriend and with the guy. So, but I think I'm more open to if you want to show your feelings, but you got to know when to do it. Now that's the break glass in case of fire. The crying. Yeah. You can't be coming to me every week because somebody done made you cry. Because at some point I'm gonna be like, this is life. But with everything that's going on today, if you cry, I understand.
Yeah.
It's just harsh out here today.
It's very hard. I didn't cry when my dad died.
See, now I would go.
And that was massive for me.
I would be like, Touré,
I was sad. I was in it. I was feeling it, but I never cried, even at the funeral. Because as an American man, it's deeply ingrained.
Not to.
Don't cry.
And then now you can't bring it up because it's just so deeply ingrained that you don't.
Yeah.
I know Jeffrey said to me, he saw his grandmother. She's in her 70s. For his birthday, I sent him back to see his grandmother with his siblings and his dad. He hadn't seen her in probably 8 years. And he said, Mom, every time I hugged Grandma,
she cried.
He said, I felt like crying. Oh. He said, why did I feel like I wanted to cry every time I hugged her? And I said, that's pretty deep. And I said, did you? He said, no, I didn't.
I thought about it.
And I said, it was okay if you went back, and it's okay if you cry, Jeffrey. Because you miss her. Those are tears of joy. So.
Somebody said to me the other day, because my kids are 15 and 14, my neighbor. So what do you think about when they move out? She don't have kids. What do you think about when they move out? Right? We got years to go. But still, like, we can see the end, right? The end is closer than the beginning.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, yeah.
You will be boo-hooing.
Yeah. I really hadn't, right? You're right on it. You're about to be empty nest.
Oh,
right?
I get emotional every single time.
How's that?
I get emotional when I look at my son because I picture him going, Mommy, you're so pretty. Okay, I'm going to be the news weatherman and you're going to be... I got memories for days. It goes by so fast. And I feel like my son said to me, when I get 18, I'm going to get high. I'm drinking some Jack Daniels. I'm going to go see strippers, Mama. And I was just like, okay, all right, okay. But he's like, and I'm moving out. And I was like, okay, well, you could go see the strippers, but come on back home.
So you're not kicking him out when he turns 18? But he's going to school, so he's not going to be here.
I think it's harder for kids now to be out on their own.
Well, yeah, economically.
It's a lot harder. I can understand why they need to stay home for a little bit.
Yeah.
But the thought of him like moving on when he told me I couldn't kiss him anymore, he says these lips are reserved for Julia. That took me aback because I was like, I always kiss you.
Not even in the house?
Not even in the house. Every once in a while, he'll say, bring it in. And I'll go hug him and he'll go, okay, that's enough.
Just a hug?
Just a hug.
No kiss?
No kiss. And every once in a while, he will let, I cry for the baby that he used to be. Yeah. But I go, Sherri, he's a young man. Now it's time to let him fly. It's time to...
His voice is deeper than
His voice is deeper.
He's taller than you.
He wrote a note on his door and said to management, knock and wait for me to answer. Thank you. I can't even go in his room no more. You guys should walk in his room. But like that, don't walk in your son's room at 17 and you to knock on the door. Well, it's some stuff you going to be traumatized seeing. So I can't walk in his room. I can't. So I mourn that part, but I go and I cry also because he's a young Black man.
Yeah.
And now he's got to now go through life. The very thing that I sheltered him from is now what he has to deal with.
Yeah.
I can't jump in front of people and go, who you talking to? You want to say something? Say it to my face. Whatever you was going to say it, because that's what I would do. Say it to my face. Yeah, that's what I thought. I can't do that anymore. He's got to go to work and his boss might scream at him. He can't call me and I put him on the phone. What you want to say? I can't do that anymore. Oh my gosh.
What is your superpower? What is the thing you do better than other people that's led to all your success?
I don't know if I do anything better than anybody. I just know how to harness what I do. And I think that when I go, what is my mission? It's love, and it's making you feel better than when you came. That is what John Murray, my best friend, who is executive producer of the Sherri Show, when we pray for the audience who's in the studio and the audience who's watching, our prayer is always, we want them to feel better than when they came. And I know when I first started my show, I was like in a panic, had a mild anxiety attack because I was like, how am I going to be different? What do I do that's different? And I want to make you feel better than when you came. And I know that I have been given that gift to make people laugh, to be silly. When people say, girl, that girl's so damn silly. Sherri, you a whole hot mess. That's the best compliment you could give me. You just a whole mess. If it's going to make you feel better. And that's my superpower.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I could talk to you all day. You're the best.
See, that's another thing. You can't be crying with me all the time and go, I can talk to you all day. It's stuff you got to do.
Yeah.
You shovel that dog poop out from in front of the house. It's a dead squirrel right in the back. Do you get that? And can you kill that spider? And then we can talk.
I would kill any spider for you, Sherri. Just call me.
Oh, gosh, Touré.
I'll come. I'll get in an Uber 3 a.m. and come kill a spider for you.
Oh, gosh. Oh, my gosh.
You're the best.
Did you tell people to come see me and Kim Whitley do our comedy?
Yes. Well,
you're gonna put it up.
Well, we've stopped, and I will say that in the intro because we're gonna put this out Wednesday.
Thank you so much.
So we'll talk about May 4th, City Winery in the intro,
and the other 3 dates with Kim. Yes, the 2 Funny Mamas dates.
Tell me.
It's 519, and that's New Brunswick, New Jersey. 520 is Bensalem, Pennsylvania. And 521 is Wilmington, Delaware.
The website for the rest of the dates is SherriShowTV.com. It's for every date. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for having me. That was wonderful. Fun.